Okay, well I'm interested in public sector situations where someone has bid and the decision has gone against them. And under what circumstances, what tests should an organisation use to work out whether or not they should consider challenging that decision, potentially to overturn it, or should they hang back and just nurse their wounds and carry on to the next bid?
Hey, what a great question, Andy, particularly from someone who's a specialist in this area in sixfold. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to take this complicated subject of challenging public sector decisions and the whys and the hows and try and simplify it into 3 or 4 points. Firstly, about time, understanding the importance of time in the process, understanding what the indicators are, what may cause you to want to make a claim, talk about the standstill period, and finally your letter to the authority in which you start the claims process. So let's start with time. It's very important to remember time is of the essence in this process. You have 30 days to make a claim from the point at which you first think a claim is able to be made. This could be as simple as the day you receive the invitation to tender. There may be indicators in that invitation to tender that it's wired for a competitor, that is wired towards one type of solution rather than another. There may be obvious errors to you in the scoring process. Actually got involved in a bid myself last year where the customer had accidentally weighted what would be wrong behaviours in terms of the solution. And they really appreciated someone coming back and stopping the process very quickly. Next, the indicators. As I've mentioned some of them already. Is there something about this ITT that doesn't feel right? Does it feel like it's wired for a competitor? That is, there is only one solution that meets it. Is there something imbalanced about the scoring process that's going to encourage the wrong behaviours in delivery? Indicators such as imbalance in pricing to technical solution, unfair, improper value for money. Most people don't do much with this until they get to the standstill period. This is the point at which you receive the letter from the authority that tells you who's been selected to win the contract. That may be you, in which case it's good news. If it's not you, what you should be looking for in that letter. Firstly, the default standstill period is 10 days. So you have 10 days up until midnight from the 10th day to object to the decision to award the contract to another party. The letter should tell you who's the winner. It should tell you who scored what and where, in what areas. And finally, it should give the rationale for why the winner was better than all the other solutions. Study that letter carefully. That can be your basis for a claim. If you want to make a claim, finally, the letter to the authority. Express your concerns about the scores or generic reasons why you think things are wrong, what you're looking at, what you're seeing there that's wrong. Think about Freedom of Information Act. You can ask for copies of the evaluator's score sheets, copies of notes of meetings which the evaluators had in which they compared or adjusted or sorted their scores. You can ask for what's called a Regulation 84 report. This is a government report that's produced to go to Cabinet should Cabinet request justification of a particular decision. Anything that you need within reason to help you justify and understand why the authority has made the decision it has. And finally, there's something called a Regulation 84 report, which most authorities will produce. It's a simple summary report that tells you the key information. This is something that they would submit to Cabinet if requested to do so, that justifies their decision. So, just to summarise, it's about time. It's about knowing when to claim, and you can claim early or wait until the end of the process. It's about knowing what to look for in the standstill letter, making sure you've got enough information to allow you to make a fair judgment as to whether you should have won or lost. And finally, it's about your letter back to the authority. Don't forget to ask for the information that you need in order for you to make a good judgment about whether it's worth pursuing the claim further. I'd really appreciate it if anyone else has got any thoughts to add to this, and look forward to hearing from you.